Hi, welcome to Hooked, where we equip you to thrive in love, sex, relationships, and dating. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Blessed Ivan. I am your host, together with my beautiful wife over here.
Precious Barbara.
Her name is Precious Barbara. I mean, she's so brief. I received that grace. and today on the show, we have guests that are joining us. These incredible people. They're going to tell us who they are. And I'm going to ask them, as they tell us who they are, they're going to tell us just one, they're going to answer one question. They're going to tell us when they had their first crush. Yeah, I'm sure you want to hear that. So I'll start with Morgan. Yes.
Hi guys, my name is Morgan Omala. I'm a student at Makerere University, and the question is when I had my first crush. First define the word crush.
I'm sure you know what we are talking about.
Let me see. First crush. I think, in my perspective, a crush is someone you are attracted to or like something about them. And I had my first crush in like primary.
How old were you?
I'm not so sure when exactly. Could have been P2.
Hey!
Wow.
It started early, yo.
Crush,
Yes.
meaning liking something. I just liked someone, how smart they were, they had intellect, and I really liked
Was
them.
it a babe? Of course.
Yeah.
All right, we'll switch over. Hear from you and then hear from you.
Hi, Edward Kisoma are my names. My first crush, around P5, Lake Vic, I was putting on a khaki short and white shirt.
You remember the clothes?
Yeah, and grey socks with green.
Hey.
Yeah. Shababa.
How old were you at about that time?
P5, I was 10.
10 years old, first crush. P2, you were,
What's the age? for
give or
P2?
take 7?
Yeah.
7. Yes.
Okay. Hi, my name is Galabuzi Chanda. I'm a student at Makerere University. My first crush, I think it was when I was in P5. Yeah, so I was 10. Yeah.
You still know the guy?
No, we don't talk anymore. This guy was. This is a story for another day.
He was male, I can tell.
He was male.
She didn't tell us who her first crush was. You need to tell.
My first crush was my husband, right here.
Ah, Salah.
Anyway,
Salah.
I don't really remember, but it could have been primary, like upper primary.
Yeah.
I remember the name of the guy, but I have never met him since. So
Well, I've never had a crush. I crushed on one person, my wife. Anyway, my first crush was when I was 9 years old. I remember. Still remember the name of the girl, what she looked like then, where she stayed, what she used to look. Everything about her, I remember. But I won't get into the details. I don't know where she is. No, she can't be jealous. So for this particular episode of the Hooked Show, we are going to talk about something that we found is you see, with regard to marriage, love, sex, relationships, there are seasons. And I've learned over time and in life that how you handle one season will affect whether you'll thrive in the next season or not. Just like if you take the example of farming, if you don't deal with the preparation stage very well, then when it gets to planting time, you're going to actually struggle. When it gets to harvesting and you didn't deal with the planting season well, you're going to struggle. And so with regard to relationships, love, sex, there are seasons. There's the time when people are still single.
Yeah.
Some are single and confused. Some are single and secure. Some are single and searching. Some are single and searchable. etc. But there is that season when someone is single. There is the season when you we had this discussion earlier whether it's dating or courtship, or there is that season, relationship, where you're being seen or you're seeing someone. Then there is the time when you are married, and even in marriage there are seasons. And so today we just want to talk about the time when you are single. When you are single, you are free bird. You're single, you're not dating anyone, you're just living your life. It's important how you live. I think it's important how you manage that season, because in a way it affects what's coming next. And basically today we are going to measure on the myths that single people have about marriage and dating. The myths that single people have. So guys, what are some of these things, myths that single people have about marriage and dating and that stuff?
I think one of the myths that I see commonly, and I've also sort of been there, is the myth. I'd like to call it like, it's a scenario where you think that the person who you're going to get is going to complete you. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you're looking for someone to fill up a certain gap you have. Sometimes it can be a gap in, like, maybe love. Yeah, maybe you've never experienced love even for yourself. Yeah, and so you're looking for love from someone else to fill like a void you have. Sometimes it could be maybe peace. Yeah, you don't have an inner peace, so you think that someone else is going to sort of fill up that peace gap in you. So I feel like people have various gaps and they look for someone else to complete them. And you'll agree with me whether I'm right or wrong, but sometimes I think because you have that gap, yeah, two people meet and they're like two halves trying to merge together. And now the challenge is, instead of filling each other up, yeah, they're basically drawing from each other. And like, let's say if you have like an insecurity, like a gap, a love gap, and then you got someone else for love. Now, if something were to happen and like you were to stop the relationship, you would feel like you can't be loved anymore. Yeah? So I think that's one I can think of head, yeah.
Shouldn't we though expect to be loved, to find peace?
Yeah.
Like,
Be
is it
completed
wrong?
by
Yeah.
other people.
Is it
So
wrong?
now this is what I think, yeah. Yes, in how I look at love is one, yeah. When you're going to start a relationship with someone, you're not going for someone to complete you. You're sharing with them what you have.
Hey.
You get?
Don't be
Yeah.
a man.
Like, the person is not like, when you get love, going with a mindset of let me go and get love. That's not how I think it should be. I think it should be with a mindset of let me go and share with them some of the love, and in return you're also getting some of the love, but you're not going to get.
Okay. So the picture I get in my mind, it's like you have two cups,
Yeah.
okay, and one cup is maybe not filled to the brim, while the other cup is overflowing. So what you're trying to say is that as a single person should not think that when I get into a relationship, imagine you have two cups. It's not
Yeah.
like you're expecting someone to pour
Just one.
what they have into you to complete you, but it's
Yeah.
like you're already filled to the brim with something.
Yeah.
And it's like you're just complementing each other and creating
Yeah.
Yeah.
more from which you can
And
draw.
I tell you one thing I feel like, maybe just to share a brief thing, yeah? Like, on that, it's like an identity thing. If you've not had some self-discovery, knowing yourself, yeah? And then you go to someone else to as if get an identity from them, there's going to be a mismatch. So it's more of you first need to know yourself, you need to discover yourself, yeah? And then that's when you're sharing who you are.
Okay. Okay.
Interesting.
And is there any other myth? Because as we go on in the show for our next episodes, we'll be breaking down each of those myths and showing you how you can navigate them and how you can live life better as a single person to navigate all these thoughts and lies that people have about it. Is there any other myth that you guys can think of or that you have experienced?
So I think another myth that I can talk about that heard about somewhere and I've seen happen in life is the right person myth. You go into something. People even have lists. Say you make a list and like, I want this
You have to
person
be
to be
tall,
like this. You need
dark,
to be generous,
handsome.
God-fearing
Yeah.
ones. Yeah? And it's not a
Oh, I
bad
know,
thing.
like mine.
It's not a bad thing. You can have how do I bring it up? Okay. Like when you make that list of this particular person, of all the things that you want this person to be, I don't think we should be looking for a person that's like that for the right person, but actually striving to make ourselves
The right person?
the right person. Like that. I always ask myself this question: that person that you want, are you the person that they would want?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you have to work on yourself, build yourself, and become the right person, as opposed to looking for somebody who is the right person.
So we can attract something,
yeah, it's because like attracts like.
Maybe
when
looking
you
for someone to compliment me. I'm stingy. I want
you.
someone who is generous. So let's compliment each other.
Oh,
I'm tall, the other is short, you know.
Like balls.
I feel like
Yeah.
okay, that's
And
valid
like balls
also. Yeah,
attract.
like that can come up, but I feel like what you are trying to explain is a different context from that.
Yeah.
Like she's looking at it in a context of like having so many specifics sometimes limits people from getting into this dating thing. Like it's a myth. Personally, I used to think that the person you get, yeah, is sometimes a person you want might not be the person you need to complement your life. That's what I feel like. And until you stop limiting everything to until I meet this
The person who
this
takes
Superman,
every-
you get it?
Mm.
Or until let me leave the second example. But yeah, you get what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think also we've like watched a lot of movies many times, and sometimes you have like a perfect picture of what a good relationship should
Yeah.
be. You know, you kind of think when I get into a relationship, we are going to be going on date nights every night, we are going to be eating out every night, we are going to look into each other for 3 hours a day. You know, like to watch these things, and that's what
With
we want.
soundtracks.
Yeah, and that's what we want. But
With the right lighting.
Yeah, what key are you?
yeah. But you forget that those things are staged, and then you get into a relationship, and it's kind of different. Not that we won't look at each other and eat out and do what, but
Yeah.
it's not like that's the life every day. Like the life we see in movies is kind of different.
Yeah.
So it kind of paints a picture that is different from what real life is.
It's like a fairy tale.
It's like a fairy tale, and sometimes when you don't meet these things, you're quick to, you know, maybe think you're in a wrong relationship, or you're not dating the right person. But it's different. It's
Yeah.
actually different.
Actually, as you are speaking, it's like I now get two myths, like the
Yeah.
one she was talking about, and then a myth you brought in where she's talking about the right person myth,
Yeah.
where you're thinking about like you have your list and you expect that until I find a person who
Meets the
looks
standards.
like this,
Yeah.
I cannot date.
Yeah.
And so you're stuck being single because you're looking for the perfect person. Someone said that if you want perfect people, you need to go to heaven. Because here on earth,
You and his partner.
But also the question would then be, should I just settle for anyone because, you know, I don't have expectations, I don't have a list? Like, how do I then go about it?
I think she
it
answered
is a thing of you cannot just not have expectations.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Naturally, you have expectations, either they're good or they're bad. And if I could lean in more into what you had shared, I think it then creates a gap in every single person of, am I ready? Because when you look at relationships that are thriving, it looks like they started yesterday and they're so awesome. Like a couple that is wealthy, it looks like these guys have been wealthy all their life. And then it sets in the question of, am I ready? Really? Maybe I need to get money first. Am I ready? Maybe I need to get the right funds. Am I ready? Maybe I need to have the right attitude, the right accent, the right...
It's a process,
There are
yeah?
things that you can work on, there are things that are you, there are things that you can grow together. But because of the way, like you said, watch movies and we see relationships growing up, we see people around us, it then creates that gap of, am I ready to settle for this? I feel like that is also a myth.
Mhm.
And I think to better answer your question, you shouldn't particularly be focusing. I'm not saying that you shouldn't have expectations,
Mhm.
Yeah.
but you shouldn't always particularly be focusing on that other person, the right person, finding the right person. Focus on yourself, build yourself. It really connects to what you were sharing earlier, the you complete me thing. You have to make sure that you know yourself, you know what you like, you become the person that you want, the person that you want.
Become the person that you want, the person.
that you
I
want.
feel like maybe just add on that.
Yeah.
You know, like that completing thing, or the right person to answer your question.
Yeah.
You notice sometimes you don't even need expectations, really. Yeah. But the more you build yourself into a right person, you automatically say no to some things. You get it? Like, let's say you've already put yourself in a position where you're just going to be attracting a certain
Like you've
kind of
reduced
people.
your sample space.
Yeah.
Like just automatically by the person you are. You get it? So I feel like she said, don't focus too much on that person. Yeah?
But focus most on you.
most wow, yeah.
I kind of get a question from that discussion.
Yeah.
Does then that contribute to the play hard to get? Because, for example, if she's focused on herself,
Yeah.
And she's growing herself.
exactly, then my efforts to chase her
Has-
might be diminishing as we
Wow.
go by. But also, if I have so many expectations, then she's going to play hard to get because my expectations of her are too high.
I think we have so many
I
myths
know.
going on here. Like there are different myths
Yeah.
coming up.
Yeah.
But just in case you're just tuning in, we are talking about the myths that single people have about love, sex, relationships, marriage, dating. And we've talked about the completion myth, thinking that someone is going to complete you. We've talked about the right person myth.
Yeah.
You have your list and you're waiting for the right person. I personally had a list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And on that list there were some radical things, but one of them was that I needed my wife. I thought I needed a dancer, wife who can.
Oh, hey, guys, I
I
done.
know, I go one, yo. But anyway, I had my list, and in a way, in many ways, the person that I am now married to exceeds
The expectation.
the expectation.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't want to lie to you that she ticked everything on the list. No. As I got
to heaven.
Maybe you've been to heaven.
no, she
I've
didn't
been to
tick
heaven and
everything
came
on
back.
the list. In fact, there are so many things she didn't tick, but as we will get to discuss in our next episodes.
Yeah.
Because at times I think you need to get that person, and as you work together and grow together, you
Yeah.
slowly grow to become the right people
Yeah.
for each other. So I've talked about the right person myth. Someone talked about the fairy tale myth, where you watch stuff in the movies
Yeah.
and you're like, yo, we need to
That's
do
my kind of
that's my
relationship.
kind of relationship.
Yeah.
We need to be cruising in this type of car. So you
Yeah.
go looking for that car. Bambi, look, the thing is staged. The car probably they produced, they manufactured just one
version.
limited edition and version of that car for the movie, and then you go looking for it and you spend all your life
Yeah.
not finding the person. So that's a fairy tale, and we could say it's the comparison. Could call it the comparison myth, where you're trying to compare your life and your reality to something you saw somewhere,
Yeah.
and you want to replicate that. Someone talked about I think you wrote it in somewhere, the readiness
Being
myth.
ready.
Am I ready?
Yeah.
When is the right time?
When?
Seriously, when is the right time? Am I actually ready? Do I need to get certain things? Do I need to have a certain bank balance?
I feel like many times we want to over be ready. I know that, yes, I want to be ready, maybe
Do you
first
want-
finish school,
Yeah.
maybe first make some money,
Yeah.
maybe, I don't know. But sometimes, don't you think that sometimes we over want to be too
And we
ready?
miss the season.
And you miss, I don't know if it's missing the season, but you know, you have like certain expectations. I have to first make 30 years, I have to first build a house, I have to first, I don't know, make
Get a
millions of
PhD.
money, get a
Get a
PhD.
PhD.
I've had people say, I want to first study my master's and
You
finish.
need to plant things like
When do you know that you're actually like really, really
Fast.
ready
I can,
to
I
now
can argue,
get into a relationship?
can argue that culture has shaped us a certain way.
Yeah.
And even the questions you just kept asking, they lean towards culture.
Yeah.
Because culture has looked at people with houses who kind of look successful. But we know the stories of guys with houses and they're not happy.
Yeah.
Also, we've had culture has told us that we need to have a certain level of wealth. On Friday, I was with someone who told me they graduated in June and they married in August.
I actually know someone who got married when they're in first year and the wife had finished campus.
Hey.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone's story is
Different
different.
reasons.
Well, different age.
Everyone's story is different.
Oh, yeah.
but the question of are you ready? I think it leans into so many things. And
Yeah.
if you can zero down, you could look at it in the 5 sections of life: spiritual, relational,
Wow, yeah.
intellectual, physical, and financial.
Yeah, but I
Yeah.
think it also helps to know that we are on a journey and the journey never ends.
Yeah.
So if you wait for when it will end for you to start, then
So like when you're
You may never
completing,
stop.
you shouldn't imagine that you need to fill the whole cup, yeah. But still, you need to pay attention to yourself, yeah.
And I think another where the readiness, the question, am I ready, could come from is, in my perspective, it comes from comparison, and it really connects to the fairy tale myth. Because what are you basing on really to say that you're not ready? Maybe because you saw from a movie that before this guy started dating, the guy used to come to her home, pick her in this car, then take her to Dubai for her birthday, and you're
Yeah.
like, but am I ready?
Can
Can I
I
really?
Am I
handle-
ready to do
Am I
that?
ready?
Can you handle-
And that's really, it's not a comparison thing. It's not about the other person. Everybody has a unique story
Yeah.
that they're going by, and readiness is a personal thing. It's relative to a person.
Mhm.
Yeah, so that's what I think about that.
she earlier talked about playing hard to get. I don't know whether it was Eddie
Yeah.
Yeah,
or
she
Yeah.
talked about it.
No, Eddie brought it out.
and
It's
the
a
question,
myth.
yeah, it's a myth. But the question I have is, should
Should you settle for?
should I what's the standard? Like, should I say yes to a guy when they've asked me quickly? Should I wait? What's like that myth about?
Well, all these questions. Like I said earlier, we are going to get into the breakdown of the different myths in our
Yeah.
next episode, so you should watch out for them. But what I can quickly say probably about our experience, I mean, she said yes after 6 days.
Yes, to
She
marry.
said yes to me, yes, after 6 days.
Right.
To dating
To
and
dating.
marriage.
Dating and marriage,
Yeah.
for us, it was
Date
straight on
was
from
one
the
marriage.
beginning. You
Serious.
say yes, it's not, we are not going to try out what, no.
Yeah.
We are headed for marriage forever.
But guys,
So she said-
he had been throwing hints.
Yeah.
We are
Alright.
throwing hints.
Pursuing, eh?
Yeah, but at times there is this notion that you see, if you say yes too quickly, they will think you're too desperate.
Yeah.
Hmm? But if you take, but also there is a possibility that you'll take too long and the guy will change his mind. And you'll be like, man, I'm tired. You have
Scarcity
waited
creates
too long.
demand.
Yeah, there is a statement that scarcity creates demand.
There's also this thing girls be like, he only asked me once. When I told him no, he walked away. Maybe
Yeah,
he
he
was
was
hard enough.
Yeah.
You didn't try hard enough.
Yeah,
How
Try
hard?
hard enough.
I think
That's
even
right.
that kind of answers your question. It pushes away the thing of time, and it what? It zeroes down to a person.
Yeah.
Because then if it is a thing of, I asked once, that's not about time. That's about the person feeling like I need to be asked several times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On the side, they asked Simon Peter 3 times.
So you think they must ask you at least more than once?
So guys,
then-
another myth. Who should first, talking about asking,
Mhm.
can I make a move? That's another myth that people have out there. That,
As the
hey,
lady, who should
who
make
should
the
make the
who should
move?
take the first
Yeah.
step?
So we stay in that, you're not sure.
Like you
But
like the
it's
guy,
actually a myth.
you
Yeah.
like the guy,
Yeah.
but you're not sure whether you should make a move.
Yeah.
And some
And
guys
maybe the
don't
guy
like
is
being
being
approached
slow.
also.
And some guys don't like being approached. So what's your say on that?
I have very many arguments
Test and see.
concerning that.
Test
Why?
and see.
Because
Yeah.
I am passionate about masculinity, but for a long time, I think every lady has been empowered from the 1900s, and you'll find that in certain cultures, especially South Africa, Lesotho, and what, right now they're just empowering the men. Why? Because they have started losing out on the leadership from men, and now you find that in those cultures, the ladies advance and speaking perfectly.
Oh wow, that's
When
new.
you come within here, it's a different case, my friend.
Yeah, I know.
So
also-
it could be a thing of culture, where you situated, what is happening within your culture.
Yeah.
But then
Yeah.
as an individual, what works for you? I could be okay with it, a lady to advance. I could not be okay with it. A lady could be okay with it to advance towards the guy, and the guy could not be. So it's a thing of like an individual thing. It goes back
Yeah.
to identity, yeah?
Yeah.
There is something someone talked about, because we fear sometimes to approach because of our references to what the Bible says.
Yeah.
He who finds a wife
Finds a good thing and obtains favor.
Yeah, and so sometimes you find yourself in a situation where you are not sure what's happening between you and the guy, but because you have to wait for the guy to make the move because that's what the Bible says, so you're stuck. Yeah, I think it's a real.
Yeah, you send the signal and you let him,
Let him
Yeah.
decide.
Yeah.
do the advance.
Because
Signal.
can you be found when you don't want to be found? I think you have to make yourself not available, but
Visible.
Foundable.
Or findable.
But isn't there a room like for clarity if I need to clarify a confusing situation?
Yes, it's
Yeah.
very important, I think, to clarify, because confusion can leave you in a state where, misinterpreting signals, I feel like, delays certain things from happening, and yet we are living in a limited time frame, yeah? So at a point, it's important for both parties. If you feel like the guy, like you're confused, I think a lady has a right to ask him,
What we
are
What's
you,
up?
like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You get it?
But
Then
you-
let him tell you that this is what I am doing, or this
This
is not
is
what
not
I'm
your
doing. So
business.
that there is clarity.
Yeah.
She might miss on another guy who is pursuing.
But
Why so
guys,
serious?
guys, to simplify our things, please always clarify things before the confusion.
so in short,
And I know where the
a
guys
lady,
can get it from.
a lady is not supposed to come and be like, you know what, I've seen
You
you,
marry me?
seeing me, and I like you. I know you like me. Do you? Yeah.
Some do.
So I would like us to take it further. So a lady is not supposed to do that.
Well, ideally, if you're to go to according to the biblical narrative,
Yeah.
I would say no. But like I said, we are going to have further discussions about all these myths.
Yeah.
So would encourage you to stay tuned, watch out for the next episodes of our Hooked series right here as we talk about the different myths that single people have about love, sex, relationships and marriage. We've talked about 6 of them. And by the way, if there is any myth you think we've left out that you know out there, please
In the comments.
just leave it in the comments, subscribe to the channel, let us know if there are questions that you'd like us to address as we go along, things that you find you're struggling with as a single person, things you think we can address and talk about and help you with. Please leave them in the comments. We'll be very, very, very excited to talk about them. And thank you guys for being here for this very first episode. Thank you, Eddie. Thank you, Chanda. Thank you, Morgan. And of course, to the most beautiful babe this side of heaven. Thank you, Bobby. Watch out for our next episode. We'll be talking about the completion myth. How do you navigate that? Feeling that you need someone to complete you. How do you go about that? So thank you so much for tuning in. Watch out for our next episode here on Hooked.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.